Once again, we're back together. All right, so we are looking at the technical maths May-June 2024 exam. So we are starting with question 2. We have already completed question 1. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you're part of this family. All right, let's go right into it. They say given t is equal to the root of 2 minus 5b divided by 2b. Determine the numerical value of b for which t is undefined. Right. So what would make this undefined? All right. Now, remember that t would be undefined if b would be equal to 0. All right. Why would that be the case? Because remember, we cannot divide anything by 0. So if we said b is equals to 0, in this case, we'd have our square root. So in this case, you'd say divided by 3 multiplied by 0. And we know that in mathematics, any division by 0 would deem this undefined. Okay, so in this case, it would be undefined if b is equal to 0. Right, but I also want you to keep in mind that we cannot have a negative, right, under the square root. So in this case, it would be undefined if 2 minus 5b would be less than 0. Okay, right. So in that case, remember that would be the square root of a negative number. So I'm going to say that's minus 5b is less than negative 2. Right, now please remember, when I divide by a negative, okay, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 5. But remember that the inequality sign should change, right? So that means that b must actually be greater than 2 over 5. Okay, so it will be undefined if the value of b is greater than 2 over 5. Okay, right, so greater than 2 over 5. So those are the two expressions, right, when it would be now in this case for 2.1.2 they say, right, determine the values of b for which t is equal to 0. Well, when would we have this equal to 0? When the numerator is equal to 0, right? So in this case, when 2 minus 5b is equal to 0, and of course we can simplify this again, just like I did the first one. Okay, we'll have minus 5b is equal to negative 2. And if we divide by negative 5, all right, we've got b is equal to 2 over 5. And so that is when this will be equal to 0, right? When b is equal to 2 over 5. Right, I hope that you got that. Now, the last portion of question 2, they say determine the values of k for which the equation kx squared is equal to 35 minus 2x, right, has real roots. So what we need to do, ladies and gents, is that we need to take this expression, right, and actually write it as a quadratic expression. Right, so how do we do that? So we're going to say, right, so first of all, kx squared, that's equal to 35 minus 2x, kx squared rather. So that would be kx squared plus 2x minus 35 is equal to 0. So we always need to write it in quadratic expression first, right? And then once we've done that, we are now going to take all of this, right, and make it into, what they said to us is that we need to make sure that it has real roots. We need to find the values of k such that it has real roots. So what do we know about real roots? We know that delta has to be greater or equal to 0, okay? So which means, what is our delta value? Delta is b squared minus 4ac, right? Our b value is 2 squared. That's minus 4 times our a value is k, and our c value is negative 35. Okay, so in this case, all of this must be greater or equal to 0. So let's try and solve. So that's 4 minus 4 times 35, that would be 70, that's 140, right? So that's plus 140k. Please verify that for me. That's 4 times 35, definitely 140, should be greater than or equal to 0. Right, remember, a negative times a negative gives us a positive. So in this case, it means that 140k must be greater or equal to, I'm going to take the 4 to the other side, right? So this would be greater or equal to negative 4. So which means that k, if I divide both sides by 140, that means that k should be greater than or equal to negative 4 over 140. And of course, I think there should be a way in which we can simplify that. This is going to be k is greater than, right? 4 into itself once, and into 140, that would be 35 times. So that would be minus 1 over 35. All right, so that is really how the cookie crumbles. So please remember, when we talk about real roots, this is when delta is greater or equal to 0. Okay, right, so that is how the cookie crumbles. Ladies and gents, we've reached the end of question 2. We're going to start on question 3 on the next video.